Hi, my name is Lindy from Project Portfolio Office. In today's video, I'm going to be sharing our latest addition to our widget library, which is the Gauge widget. So previously in PPO, we only had the ability to include the gauge when it comes to reports and dashboards. So what you would be used to, if I just navigate to dashboards, on the project status dashboard, if I just run this for one of my projects, you'll notice we have a gauge widget for schedule variance as well as cost variance. So the enhancement that we are introducing today is the ability to include these gauges either on your homepage tabs or on your list pages in PPO. The first two examples that I'm going to talk you through is just replicating my schedule variance and my cost variance on my homepage in PPO. So just flipping over there, I'm focusing on my dashboard tab. I'm just going to go into edit mode to add the two new widgets, but the intention would be to at some stage get rid of the average budget variance as well as the average progress variance, which are all currently key metrics. So I'm just going to click on edit. I can add a panel. And when I click on widgets, you'll see the addition of the gauge chart in our widget library. When I select that one, I can now decide which entity data that I'll be looking at. And the first one is going to be my progress variance. So I'm going to select projects and I'm going to click on add. As always, we have the ability to change the caption of these widgets. So I've just updated this one to progress variance percentage. I still have the ability to filter, so I only want to look at non-admin projects. I'm just applying that filter and just hiding the filter again. Then we get to the settings of the gauge. So if I just click on the settings icon, here I can decide whether I want to do a basic gauge or calculated. I'll show a calculated example as my third one. For this one, it's progress variance, so I want to see an average of my variance percentage. By default, the caption is populated for me. I can then decide which range I want to use. Auto means PPO will look at the underlying data once we've saved and adjust the gauge as needed. There are other scenarios where you want to apply a min or a max. The shapes that we have to choose from is a semicircle, which is what I'm going to use now, a full shape, speedometer, and then in terms of style, we can use a gauge or a solid gauge. For the colors, you guys are used to the calculate or the key metrics where we have the same options, which is you either select your own color for fixed or you can apply a condition. We've also now introduced the ability to apply thresholds. That's not applicable for the item that I'm currently demonstrating to you. So I'm just quickly going to click on save. If I now have a look at my gauge, you'll see for my full portfolio, excluding my admin projects, I'm 18% behind on progress, and that's exactly the same value as what my key metric is. So you can just decide if you want to replace these. The second example is the cost variance that I want to add. I'm going to add it in the same panel. So I'm just going to say add widget. I want to use the gauge again, but the underlying data that I want to look at is my cost data, and I'm just going to add that. By default, PPO is going to place them below each other, but you can just select this horizontal layout to put them next to each other. Again, I'm going to focus on my non-admin projects for this metric. And I can hide my filter again. I can click on my settings icon. Again, I'm just going to use a basic and I'm going to do an average of my cost variance. By default, again, I have my caption. I'm going to keep it on an auto range with the exact same settings and save this one. Based on my underlying data, PPO has done all the thinking for me in terms of the min and the max, and I didn't have to adjust that manually. If I look at my cost variance and I compare that with my key metric that I already have, you'll see the values are exactly the same. The third example that I want to demonstrate is going to be on a list page, and I'm going to use our project list. So what I want to do here is introduce a gauge widget that focuses on red project health, and I'm going to calculate the gauge just to demonstrate that, as well as apply thresholds just to give you an understanding of that. So I can, as a user, just click on settings and introduce any of these charts on our list pages. So we've got the key metric. You guys are used to the donut, as well as the tree map, the bar chart, and the line chart. The new one that we introduced is the gauge chart, so I can just click on that. I'm going to do a calculation because I only want to focus on red project health. I'm leaving the field type as an integer. I'm going to provide a caption. I can now add a calculated field to only look at my red project health project. So I'm going to use math, and I'm going to say count if, and then the field that I'm focusing on is the project health. So I can include this over here and just slot it into the count if, and that's basically the calculations that's going to say this gauge must only look at projects where the health is red. Looking at my range at the top, I'm going to keep it as auto because I want PPO to do the thinking in terms of my min and my max, but I do have the option to select manual and input my own values. For my color, I'm going to focus on thresholds. So for my portfolio, I can change the colors for the low, mid, max. I'm going to click into red because what I want to say is if I only have 4 red projects, I want the gauge to show as green. If I have between 4 and 6 as an example, I want those to show amber. And if I have more than 6 red projects, I want it to show as red as an example. So I'm just going to select that, and then I'm going to add my metric, and then just move it to the top just to demonstrate, and I'm going to click on save. And this is then an example of implementing the thresholds as an example for the red project health. If you guys want to learn more about our new project features, please follow us on our blog or subscribe to our blog. Go to our website, go to bpo.com. Under company, just select blog. You simply just put in your email address, your first name and your last name, and then just click to subscribe. I hope you found this new improvement valuable. Thank you so much for watching.